I am recording now. Thank you very much. So, yeah, many people say these phrases like your health is your greatest wealth, or they might say something like you should be grateful as long as you've got your health. Many people say something like that, especially older people that have had a lot of experiences and might have had health challenges. They realize how grateful they are as a result of having their health. And the truth is that health is a universal desire, a long and healthy life. If I was to say how many of you want to live a long and healthy life, if I was to say that to any audience, not just the health conscious audience, but really anyone, if you said, would you like to live a long and healthy life? Everyone has that desire. It's a universal desire. But the problem is not many people are actually acting in accordance with that desire. Rebecca's saying, optimal well-being is a phrase I'm used to. I have disabilities, health issues all my life, so any improvement would be a win. And absolutely, you know, you can only get there is obviously a limit to how healthy that we can get, and it's best to start early on as possible, because we can recover health amazingly, even when we've become very unwell, and people can get very sick, and we can recover. There are things that we can do that help us to recover our health to a degree, but we should really try and avoid doing any further damage. And how many people can truly say their actions are in alignment with those principles? So many people say they're grateful for their health. Health is their greatest wealth. They do want a long and healthy life, because no one wants a short, painful, disease-ridden life. You know, that's not a desire of many people. But how many people are acting in accordance with those principles? And that's what's really interesting to me, is why is it that so few people actually take action to make those improvements and make those changes to their life? So welcome to the first class. I appreciate totally how valuable your time is. Thank you so much for joining. The aim of this class is to help build in your mind and heart the importance and value of health and why we should never hesitate to move towards it. I want to talk about three main things: the common definition of health, why we must change that definition, the options we have in life if we lose our health, and an introduction to what I would call the path of true health supported by a raw vegan diet. And Eddie's saying you have to work at being healthy. It's a gift. Absolutely. It is something to choose as well. That's why this talk's called Choose Health. Every day we make a choice. And Amanda's saying, I think I take my health for granted until I lose it, and then I realize how precious it is. Yeah, and I think the more conscious we get aware of how good we can actually feel, then the less we put up with the things that make us lose our health slowly over time. So the definition of health: the absence of disease or illness. If you look in the dictionary, that's the definition of health, the absence of disease or illness. But that's not how I've been taught to define health. I've been taught not to see it as a negative or an absence. I've not been told to see it in a negative way. But I believe, at least, that so many people do, and they fear that a healthy lifestyle is a life of restriction, where they miss out on many things that they would love to do or love to consume. That a healthy lifestyle is a life of struggle, where every day you're battling your cravings, or they believe a healthy lifestyle is a life of boredom, where the fun, pleasure, and enjoyment have been removed from life. And I want to tell you that it's not health that is restrictive, but actually sickness. It is sickness that is restrictive and will take away your health. It's sickness that will rob your time, take away your potential of life, and we should really see things in the right way. And I love this quote from Dr. Herbert Shelton, who says, we must raise our understanding of our lifestyle to a plane where it challenges us to realize there is such a thing as an abundant life, a life which causes us to accept the restrictions gladly and willingly, and not because they are restrictions, but because they are a part of the means by which the abundant life is achieved. A healthy lifestyle is not a restrictive lifestyle. In fact, it's the most abundant and free lifestyle possible. So many people want freedom, they want abundance, they want energy, They want clarity of mind. All of these things go along with a healthier lifestyle. And even people want amazing joy in the food they eat. And that comes along with a healthier raw vegan lifestyle as well, where we actually end up enjoying our food even more than ever before. Because we're in a relationship with our food, and everyone says they love their food. The question is whether your food loves you back. And when your food loves you back, then you end up loving the food even more and enjoying it even more. So health is about abundance, an abundance of energy, an abundance of vitality, an abundance of potential, the potential for you to do all the things you want to do as long as you want to do them, for as long as you will optimally live. But it's not about the years in your life. It's not just about having a long life. And I wouldn't even claim that I'm sure that I would live a longer life than many people. I'm looking to live a healthy life now, and I'm looking to avoid years of life of ill health. So it's not about the years in your life, it's about the life in your years, your ability to put the maximum amount of energy, the maximum amount of intensity into the things that you're passionate about that will make the maximum impact on your life and for the people around you. So once again, it's not a goal in and of itself to just be a healthier person. The idea is that by building that foundation of a healthy lifestyle, you're able to get even more out of life and give more back to life and become even more than you already are. And when you leave behind the restrictions that can come with an unhealthy lifestyle, making the maximum impact. Health is about being free of the negative consequences of unhealthy lifestyle habits. It's about getting rid of the fears, the worries of what happens. So health is about freedom. Freedom from habits, from addictions that lead many people on a path towards the edge of a cliff that they will one day fall off. And that fall leads to only one of three places, the three Ds: disease, disability, and premature death. And that's what unhealthy lifestyle habits inevitably lead to for people. I've heard this phrase before: it's better to burn out than to fade away. Like, it's better to, while you're young, do all the unhealthy things, eat everything you want, drink everything you want, take all the drugs, and participate in all kind of activities that are dangerous and risky. It's better to burn out than to fade away. I think that that's a silly statement. I don't think it's an either or choice. I think that you can choose to burn brightly throughout your whole natural life. And I think if you follow a healthier lifestyle, you're far more likely to for that life of yours to be a bright life, to be an energetic, high vibration type of a life for the whole time of your life. So I don't think there's any need to fade away. I think that when we choose to commit to our health, we can choose to continue to burn brightly throughout our life. I love this phrase from Jim Rohn, a motivational speaker. He said, walk away from the 97%. Don't use your vocabulary. Don't use their vocabulary. Don't use their excuses. Don't use their method of drift and neglect. Won't walk around the block for their health. Won't eat an apple a day. Walk away and join the 3%. To embrace a healthier lifestyle, often you have to do things that go against the common way of doing things. And we have to be free from the opinions, the ideas of other people. We have to be able to embrace our own beliefs and build our own beliefs and principles and the things in our own healthy lifestyle program, and work on that and commit to that and not be sucked back into what everyone else thinks we should do. When we come to the fork in the road, we must be prepared to take the road that should be less traveled, the road less traveled. So it's quite a weird thing to be healthy, really. It's quite unusual for people to not end up taking medication, having various operations throughout their life. That's very common. It's so normal. And it's so normal to be overweight. It's so normal to be unfit. It's so normal to have all sorts of health challenges in life. It becomes so normal that people don't realize how risky these things are, how bad these things are, how restrictive that these things are, because people have become so used to seeing this. And if we're able to commit to our health, we'll be free from the consequences of unhealthy lifestyle habits, the things that will rob you of your energy, steal your time, leave you feeling unsatisfied, unhappy, undernourished, the things that make you not want to get up in the morning, not want to get on with your day, the things that can leave you, that can affect you emotionally, even affect your mental health, and affect your physical health in so many ways. Health is about reducing, or moving towards a healthier lifestyle is about reducing our chance of these kind of things happening. And I'm getting some good comments here. Stefan, we're not congruent with our actions because our behavior is influenced by the toxins and negative emotions in our body due to trauma and honest life and not taking responsibility. I think there is a good argument there, Stefan. And Rebecca's saying it needs to be part of our identity. We have to see it as who we are, not just as what we do. And it's very true. We have to, in our mind, have a picture of ourselves and a belief of ourselves as being a healthy person, not just for this moment, but even later on in life, because we are very goal-orientated creatures, and we do move towards, or try and move towards, the idea we have of how our life should be and who we can be. And so if our mental picture is that we're going to get older, we're going to get sick, we're going to get overweight, we're going to end up in a hospital bed somewhere, if we have these negative ideas and beliefs that are quite common in people's minds, because that's what we often see happen to people, then that's what we end up maybe establishing for ourselves as the path that we're going to follow. Alternatively, when we get around other people that are good examples to us of what happens when someone really takes care of themselves for life, it can switch our mental belief as to who we can be. And it can create that new picture of, I want to be like that person. I want to be that person that really looks after myself. Being raw vegan is the best choice I've ever made. Awesome, Eddie. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much for the positive comments. Letting go of unhealthy habits is one of the hardest journeys we can ever undertake. It is really hard to change. It's really hard for us to change. That's why it's so sad when I see children having bad habits kind of placed upon them. And I don't know if any of you are around children a lot, but from what I've seen, children will quite readily eat fruit and eat healthy foods if they have it on offer to them. The problem is that a lot of children are not offered them, and it's not around them as much. And so they don't develop these good habits at an earlier age often. And some develop very bad habits as a result of their parents passing on their habits to them. And it's the habits that are very hard to change. The diet is relatively easy to understand and eat, but the habits can be really difficult to change, and our mindset and our emotions and all the things around it. It can be all these things: frustrating, maddening, confusing. It may take far longer than you expect, but it's totally worth it. And it's time to walk away from all the things that are holding you back from achieving the highest levels of health, which really mean achieving the highest level of energy, vitality in your own personal life. Remove the blinders that stop you from seeing the reality of your true self and feeling the reality of your true feelings. Cut the cords to the dragnet that pulls you back whenever you try to move forward in your life. And health is about freedom, and it's about abundance, but it's also about peace. I would suggest peace of mind, knowing that your choices are leading to a better, bigger, brighter future. Peace of mind of knowing that your choices are better for the health of the land, the environment, and the animals, and the unique peace in your body when you're no longer at war with your body, but in harmony with your body. And when the body thrives, you thrive in ways that you cannot begin to visualize and quite understand yet. But there's a whole new potential of life that can open up to you as you get healthier, as you change your diet. And people don't understand how this works. They think that when I give up something, I'm going to have a hole in my life. If I give up the food, the alcohol, the drugs, the other activities that might not be great for your health, if I give them up, I'm missing out so much. If I don't stay up all night, you know, I miss out. If I don't go out all weekend, I miss out on something. And the reality is that what happens is you cut down. When you take these things out of your life, it doesn't leave a hole. It kind of creates a vacuum, and that vacuum attracts more into your life. So someone was talking to me recently, and they said that when they made a change to their diet, the first change they made, they went to a vegan diet. What happened was they ended up having a little bit more energy. Because they had a little bit more energy, they were looking around, looking for something to do. They ended up going to a yoga class. That yoga class ended up, they became a yoga teacher. That ended up, they were traveling the world, teaching people. They also went on to do massage. They were working in massage as well. They ended up meeting all sorts of new people, new friendships, new relationships. All these great new things came into their life just because they changed their diet, and that led to them having a little bit more energy and looking for something new to add into their life. So we actually invite new things into our life. An awakening to a higher and greater version of yourself. Many people will talk about the spiritual or emotional benefits of a raw vegan lifestyle, of feeling more connected with themselves, or feeling like they've removed some kind of barrier that's prevented them from really connecting with their true self in some ways. And for many people, it's an emotional journey as well. You develop a new relationship with the world where you no longer settle for anything less than what is best and most loving for you. And if you are holding yourself back from the healthiest and best diet and the healthiest and best habits, maybe you have to ask yourself, why is that not automatic for you? Why do you not believe that you are immediately worth working, having a healthier, better life, feeling better every day, feeling more comfortable in your body? Why don't you deserve that? Why don't you deserve to feel as good and give yourself that gift? Choosing a healthier lifestyle is not just about feeling a little bit better. That's what people think. Okay, it's not really worth it to me. I feel a little bit better. Maybe I'll live a few extra years or whatever. It's not that big a deal. It's not that important. It's really about embracing an entirely new and beautiful potential for your life. But the benefits are enormous, and people undervalue the benefits and overestimate how important their current habits are to them. And the reality is that within a few weeks, our old habits can start to transform and disappear, and we really forget about the things we used to do, and we don't see them as important anymore. And what happens if you choose not to choose health? For me, I see three main options. You've got the medical option, the alternative medical option, the non-medical option. I'll try and run through these as quick as I can. We're going over a little bit on time, but we should be okay. So most countries, they have a national health service. That's the medical option. And firstly, I want to say, never looking to belittle the NHS or doctors or nurses or anything like that. There's plenty of situations in which they're absolutely essential, and things like accidents, trauma, infections, infectious diseases, bacterial, viral conditions, genetic conditions, disabilities, many situations, there's fantastic life-saving work. So we should never ignore the medical route or the medical option. We should never develop a dogma that we never go to the doctor, we never take medication. That's not the right thing. That's not a healthy choice or a very intelligent choice to make. But the truth is that mostly hospitals are not full because of all of these things. They're full because of chronic disease, and chronic diseases are a result often of lifestyle in many ways, or very contributed to by lifestyle. Definition of a chronic disease actually sometimes includes a chronic condition that doesn't respond to treatment. It doesn't respond to medical treatment. So most people are sick because of chronic diseases, and these chronic diseases don't respond to medical treatment. So should we be looking to medicine to help us with chronic disease? Probably not in that situation. While risk factors, and it's important to note that these chronic diseases, the mainstream information suggests that lifestyle is the most important factor. So the World Health Organization, the cause of the main chronic disease epidemics are well established and well known. The most important modifiable risk factors are unhealthy diet, excessive energy intake, which is unhealthy diet, physical activity, inactivity, and tobacco use. It's widespread, well known. This is not anything, this is not propaganda from us. Diet is the biggest factor here in chronic disease. So if diet is the biggest factor in chronic disease, and we go to the NHS and they provide medication, but they don't provide really the support to help change diet, is that the best place to go? What chance have you got when hospitals often feed the same food that led to chronic disease? This is a picture from, I think, the Mayo Clinic in America, and they've literally got a McDonald's in the lobby of the hospital. And this type of food is served in hospitals quite often. Then you've got medical students talking about they learn nothing about nutrition. Now, chronic disease, the main reason people are in hospitals and going to doctors is caused by diet, and everyone's saying that, but then medical students are saying we're not getting taught about diet, and doctors will often say it's nothing to do with your diet, and it can be frustrating talking to some doctors because they've got a blind spot around diet, and it's like they can't even imagine that diet is the issue. It's very strange. What chance have you got when you're looking for a health improvement program? What you actually get provided with sometimes is what's called a disease management system, in which the progress of your disease is expected because most people don't change. So most people are expected to continue on the same path. Therapies and drugs may be given to help alleviate the symptoms and tackle the cause of disease. Chronic disease does not respond to medical treatment and simply progresses. If lifestyle change is not pushed, but the thing is it, do we blame the doctors? I would suggest not. I don't suggest we blame the doctors, because the truth is that many people, unfortunately, are looking for a simple, easy way out. They're looking for the drugs. They're not looking to change their diet. And unfortunately, doctors, even people won't listen to their doctor if the doctor does suggest they change their diet sometimes. So people are often looking for the easiest option, and we can't blame the fact that we can't always blame doctors for people not choosing to change. And so what chance have doctors got to help you if most people aren't really looking to make those changes, unfortunately? So the medical option provides solutions, and we shouldn't ignore it. But when it comes to many chronic diseases, which are the vast majority of a lot of the diseases people are suffering from, these are not connected with lack of medicine, but a lack of healthy diet and lifestyle factors. So if we want to live a healthier life and the medical system is not providing us with that information, then we need to maybe look somewhere else. So maybe we look to alternative therapy or holistic medicine or complementary therapy. A definition of that would be any practice that aims to achieve the healing effects of medicine, but which lacks biological plausibility and is untested, untestable, or proven ineffective. So that's the Wikipedia definition, or it's actually not the Wikipedia definition, but you can find that on Wikipedia as well. Some alternative practices are based on theories that contradict the science of how the human body works. Others resort to the supernatural or superstitious. So the alternative medical world is all the stuff that is looking to heal and cure people in the same way that medicine is meant to, but is not scientifically as proven or scientifically as seen as being as effective as a medical system. Methods of healing that claim to have healing effects, but which often lack sufficient scientific evidence for it to be part of the NHS, for example. This can include things like Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese herbalism, homeopathy, energy healing, Reiki, aromatherapy, many other things. And some of you might be saying, well, the reason that these things haven't been proven is they've not had the money to prove these ideas. There's no profit in alternative treatments. They have been suppressed, maybe. Natural cures have been suppressed. That might be a thought that goes through a lot of people's heads. But the truth is, the alternative medical industry is actually very large and has had quite a lot of money put in to try to prove many of these things, to prove that they work. The global complementary and alternative medicine market is expected to reach about 100, maybe $200 billion. The growth of that market can be attributed to surging adoptions of natural supplements, wellness medicines by people. In the US, a center called NCCAM has spent more than $2.5 billion on alternative and complementary health research. And so far, they've not been able to demonstrate the efficacy of alternative therapies. And there's grants of around 105 million every year for testing of alternative types of treatments. And many people have seen this as, in the scientific community, seen this as a waste of money that should be going towards other things. So all of the alternative treatments are getting, to some degree, getting tested and have been looked at. But the thing is, alternative medicine doesn't really provide the solution either, because it's just really got the same idea, the same cure-all philosophy, provides a magic white pill, and the industry really relies on many consumers' biases against doctors, medicine, big pharma, unnatural remedies, and their ignorance of the true cause of disease or lack of desire to make necessary lifestyle changes. So this is where people go often if they don't like doctors, or they've tried the conventional doctors and they didn't work. They'll often go to alternative solutions, and often they're doing the same thing but just packaged in a different way. It's a more natural thing, it's a more ancient, holistic thing, but it's the same philosophy of trying to offer the magic cure to someone, the magic white pill, but just in a different form. And as we've seen, these chronic diseases are really mostly about lifestyle choices. So I won't go over some of those things, but it's not to say there's not benefits or advantages in many alternative therapies, or that there's not advantages to them. But when it comes to the major parts of our health, what we really find is that it's about changing our lifestyle. If it can help support changing your lifestyle to embrace some of these things, then it has probably a lot of value. It might help emotionally, it might help relax, it might give you a belief that you can heal yourself. That might be a good thing. But the biggest impact you're going to make is really by changing your diet and lifestyle. And there is a danger in alternative medicine where people end up with a dogmatic belief to avoid conventional medicine and things like that. So, and it's a little bit less regulated. So I'll skip over that for the moment. So what I want to get to is the non-medical option, because I personally realized that the answer is not in the conventional medical system, and it's not in the alternative medical system either. And probably a lot of you have realized that as well. So the big thing to realize, healthcare is about self-care. It's about looking after ourselves. Let me see. Got some good comments here. I'll get back to them in a second. But healthcare is about self-care. That's really what it all comes down to. It's about you being able to look after yourself and being responsible for yourself, and realizing that it's you that makes the big change. It's about respecting yourself, loving yourself, seeing yourself as being worthy of the highest level of care at all times. So we should look at ourselves the same way that we'd instinctively look after a small baby, the oldest and frailest member of our family, a small injured animal. Look after yourself with this level of care and respect automatically. Because you are worth it, you're special, you're unique, you have gifts to offer this world, and that all of that is supported by a healthier diet and lifestyle. And no one wins by you not being at your highest level of health. Absolutely no one wins from that. Famous quotation from Marianne Williamson: "Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." So don't underestimate the impact you can have. And imagine if the great artists, writers, poets, musicians, scientists, and thinkers of our time had led healthier lives with more energy and more years of life. Many died young. Amazingly, when you look into the stories of many of the great people that created great achievements in the world, there's so many of them that died young or had unhealthy lives for many years. How much farther forward would our world be? Never forget that your commitment to your health has a ripple effect that will deeply touch the lives of others that you will never meet. So remember that you're not just making a healthier choice for you, it has an impact for other people, for the people you meet throughout your life, and for your friends, your family, and everything you do. So it's not a selfish choice to try and live a healthier life in case. And there are many factors that will lead us towards better health. People will talk about, obviously, sleep, and we can talk about the mindset, we can talk about the emotional health, we can talk about the meditation, we can talk about making sure your air is clean and your water is clean. We can talk about so many things. Why focus on diet? Why should we focus on a healthier diet? Because diet's the biggest risk factor towards disease, disability, and premature death. Quite simply, the diet is the biggest risk factor. It's the biggest thing that we have a control over that will affect our health destiny. And that's why we should place a very high importance on it, why we should make an effort to improve it continually, and why we should not buy into the idea that it's not important. And of those risk factors, according to the Global Burden of Disease study, underconsumption of fruits and vegetables is the biggest risk factor towards developing disease, disability, and premature death. Underconsumption of fruits and vegetables, the biggest risk factors when it comes to your diet. So that's what we're talking about. We're trying to encourage everyone to eat more fruits and vegetables and go towards a diet predominantly of fruits and vegetables. And what we'll find over the course of this weekend is that's quite a mainstream thing. It's not a very strange fringe idea to eat a healthier diet, to eat a fruit-based or fruit-filled and vegetable-filled diet. It's not an unusual, strange, unscientific concept. In fact, there's a lot of evidence around that. Never give up and never go up. It's a journey. Moving towards a healthier diet and lifestyle is a journey. It takes time to change, and just give yourself that time. Celebrate each life. Celebrate life by taking care of your health to the highest level possible. So, and forget the mistakes of the past. Focus on building healthy habits now to support you for the rest of your life. So we're going to talk about in the next presentation, which will come up we'll start in about 10 minutes, but we'll have a little bit of time for questions and I'll go through the comments. But the next presentation will be, why is it so hard to change diet? So I'll be talking a little bit about the mental side. So thank you very much for joining me today. It's so good to see a lot of you here. And Craig, nice to see that you've joined us. Eduardo, thank you for joining us today. Jackie, Elika, and Kim, Linda, Michelle, thank you all for joining. Nadine, good to see you here. Sharon Berry, Sasha, Tracy, thank you so much. I've got a little bit of time for some questions here. And let me see. One thing I need to do, if you want to write some questions down below, feel free to do that. I'm just going to get the next message sent to people. And I'll come back to you in 1 second, but thank you very much. I'll just stop that recording there, actually.